Good afternoon. There we go. Well, first of all, I would like to thank the organizers of this event. I think they've done a wonderful job so far. And particularly, I'm very pleased to be here to speak because the philosophy that we are talking about, the theme, in fact, of explore, expand, and excel is something that is very important to me as a teacher. Of course, as a teacher, I'm low tech, right? I don't have a PPT. Sorry. Even if I did have a PPT, I wouldn't give it to you afterwards. Yes. So, as far as technology and education goes, this is something that's important to me because we look at technology and we use it all the time. In fact, we are surrounded by it. We have video cameras, I have a nice digital countdown behind me, computers over here, and most of you have your cell phones out. Look, I have one too. But I'm putting mine away. So, when we look at technology, we usually look at the way that it improves us. Right? This is the context of posthumanism. Right? How technology changes us, how technology makes us better, and more importantly, how technology makes us worse. And that is what I want to look at today, are the disadvantages of technology, or the technology that we rely on. So, Neil Postman, who is probably what I consider to be the most eloquent speaker on the risks of integrating technology into human life, once stated that, and let me quote here, technology is what he calls a Faustian bargain. For those of you who do not know who Faust is, he is a character in a play who sells his soul to the devil, named Mephistopheles, in return for knowledge. And it is with this in mind that Postman says education is a Faustian bargain, because for every advantage that we gain with technology, there is also a disadvantage that we don't pay attention to nearly as much. So, when we look at educational technology, it is expanding. It is expanding quite rapidly, in fact. In the US, where budgets have been slashed for educational spending, educational technology spending has actually gone up. And this year alone, it is estimated to be about $20.4 billion as an industry. And that's in the US alone. Now, we're in China, and it is expanding rapidly here as well. Right? We look around our classrooms, we have digital blackboards, teachers use PPTs. At the university that I teach at, we have what is called mechanical translation software. So we don't actually have to do the translation anymore. The computer will do it for us. So what is the trade-off? I mean, the Faustian bargain here, what do we lose, or what do we risk losing? Right. Well, first and foremost, current research, and this is looking strictly at education at younger ages, has shown that too much technology is leading to all sorts of physical, mental, and emotional problems, particularly in young children. And these include childhood obesity, which is a growing concern in China. Sleep issues, and I'm sure most of you who are here experience sleep issues around the Zhongkao and the Gaokao. Wait, you have to sleep to have sleep issues. I'm sure you didn't sleep around the Zhongkao and the Gaokao. But there's also attention disorders. For example, how many of you are now going on your phone and checking out Weixin or Renren? Uh-huh. All right. Just because I can't see you doesn't mean I don't know you're doing it. Okay. Classroom discipline issues are another problem, and social problems, particularly social skills and developing friendships and how we react with people. But these problems come in the early stages and they become magnified as we get older and we continue to have technology in front of us. More importantly, once we hit high school, university, we wind up coming across problems such as cheating and plagiarism. because my phone can sit on my lap and give me the answers rather than my brain. And why would I write a paper? Why would I write a Rossi when I can just copy it from the internet? This, of course, for me as a teacher, means I have to find new and intriguing topics for my students to write on, so they can't just download or share with each other. So the research is pretty clear. Right? The research is pretty clear that there is a disadvantage to using technology. But the research is still new, and the impact of technology is still growing. And we see it more with you guys, who, for the most part, are what we can call the first generation of the internet, where you've grown up surrounded by technology, using technology, and relying on technology to do the work for you. So it's the latter uses. When we talk about plagiarism, when we talk about downloading papers online or getting the computer to do the work for us, that I want to look at today. But before I do, I want to make something clear. Despite the fact I'm talking about the disadvantages of technology in education, I am actually not anti-technology. Not anti-technology. Technology has done wonders for me when I was a student. In fact, I can remember using typewriters. Okay, so I'm old. I can remember using typewriters and word processors. And when I started going to university, I used computers. I used computers, word processing software, and digital archives. The university had JSTOR and other programs that allowed me to go online and do my research. So I'm not anti-technology, it made me more efficient. But there was one important thing, one important difference between, say, my generation and this one. And that is, we had a foundation of skills to build on. We knew how to research in a library before technology. We knew how to write, we knew how to spell, we had strong grammar, we had discipline. We weren't sitting around looking at our phones while someone else was speaking. This was the difference. And because of this, when the technology became available and the tools continued to grow, I can use them to make myself even more efficient rather than dependent on this. So, not anti-technology, I just want to make sure you guys have the skills in place first. Now, we weren't distracted. Right? We were bored, don't get me wrong. Right? Just like you guys, we got bored in class too. But we didn't have a cell phone to do text messaging. And, well, we did text messaging low tech style. We wrote it down on a piece of paper, we handed it to the person next to us and told them who to get it to. So we passed pieces of paper back and forth, which required those skills of writing, grammar, spelling. We didn't have shorthand, we didn't have a technical solution for it. So it's important to understand that we have solutions in place, what I would call low-tech solutions rather than the high-tech ones that we rely on. And in terms of the low-tech solutions, we rely on these because we need those skills in place. We need to have proper grammar, whether it's English, Chinese, whatever language we speak. We should know how grammar works. We should know how spelling or writing works. We should be able to focus in a classroom rather than being distracted. We need these skills and more importantly, we need to nurture these skills. We need to develop them before we step up and start using technology that is going to undermine them. Because technology does. It's not something easy to do. To learn a language, to learn how to write effectively, these are skills that take practice. But if the technology does it for you, and the technology does it so much faster, is that a good thing? Is it? No! 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 It is not a good thing. When you lose the skills and you don't have the skills, it's not a good thing. Now, technology is fallible, and this is something to keep in mind. How many of you have ever had the internet go down on you? Have you ever lost track of the internet? Have you ever not been able to connect? No? Everybody here has been able to connect to the internet at all times? I can't. Right? Cell phones. Cell phones get dropped in toilets. They run out of credit. They lose signal, especially if you have an iPhone. Right? They don't get signal anymore. So you can't rely on your iPhone. Computers crash. Hard drives collapse. Computers overheat and break down. I've heard these excuses before. In fact, it's becoming a more common excuse, a contemporary version of, my dog ate my homework. Oh, teacher, I want to give you my homework, but my computer is broken. Well, what's wrong with your computer? I don't know, it just won't turn on. Well, bring it to me, I'll fix it for you. And here's a lesson, ladies and gentlemen. If you're going to use a technical excuse, make sure your teacher doesn't know more about the problem than you do. That goes for my freshmen that are here too. Okay? Yeah, that's the joy of me knowing a thing or two about computers. Now, the other part that's disturbing when we talk about education and technology is that almost all technology is delivered to us through a screen. But we have not changed our attitudes towards the screen because, in the words of Marshall McLuhan, the medium is the message. And the medium that we associate with a screen is television. And television is there for what? It's there for entertainment and even infotainment. But we haven't changed our attitudes. So when we go into classrooms and we have our screen up here with all that wonderful information that we're supposed to be paying attention to and learning, we see it as just another program. And when it gets boring, what do we do when we're watching TV and the TV channel is boring? We change it. We change the channel. Except you're in class, and you cannot change the channel, so what do? We switch to another screen, namely our cell phones. It's like, oh, I know, this is boring. What's happening on RenRen? Yeah, we do that. And of course, this is one of the reasons I take my students' cell phones away from them in class, so they can't do that. But this is a problem with the TV screen. We look at the TV, we see it as entertainment, we see a screen in front of us, it is there to entertain us, not bore us. So we'll switch up to whatever screen we have available, be it TV, a tablet, a laptop, or a cell phone. So for me, it's important that we start introducing skills at an earlier age and avoid what I call the premature introduction of technology. We cannot introduce it so soon that the children or the youth are not developing skills like reading, like writing, like listening, speaking, time management, classroom discipline, focus. Once they have those skills, and once those skills are nurtured and developed, then we introduce technology and make them that much more efficient, that much more effective. Because by introducing technology early, they become dependent on it. They rely on it to do the work for them quicker, easier, and when it comes time to apply the skills, they cannot do it. And when they move up to the next level, they cannot do the next step, which builds on those skills that their technology does for them. Their word processor does grammar, it does spelling, and when they have to do something without a word processor, and I've seen this in my students when they handwrite assignments, their grammar is worse, their spelling is worse. And that should tell us something as educators. As teachers, we should become more aware of this. Now, I'm not trying to be a Luddite here. I'm not trying to say technology is bad. Technology is good when we have the skills in place. Because technology is still fallible. Phones break, computers break. And if you can get around that as a student as an employee, you can work around these things. You can get around it because you have the skills in place to do it, the low tech or the long way. You prove your value as a worker, you prove your value as a student. And that is what is going to sell you in the future. And that's what's going to make people want to hire you and want to keep you around. Because you can do things regardless of the handicap. And while this is mostly a warning to students, we as teachers have an obligation to consider it as well. Because what are we doing? Are we helping our students? Are we enhancing our students with the technology? Or are we simply making our jobs easier? Because I know it is so much easier to mark a nice typewritten paper than it is to try and read some of the chicken scratch that students put on paper with ink. Right? Some of you need to work on your handwriting. But you'll never work on your handwriting if you're using a computer all the time. So we as teachers have to be careful. We cannot sell your souls to make our lives easier. This is not a Faustian bargain I want to make. So let me turn back to the theme of today's TED Talk, which is explore, expand, and excel. Explore your world, both through and beyond technology. Explore cultures online, but learn about your own country by talking to older people or people in your family. Find out about their experiences. Learn how to make different meals by going online for recipes or watching cooking shows. But then when you eat the meal, eat it away from TVs. Take away your tablet and your phone. Have a conversation with your family. Explore space through a telescope, but don't ignore the beauty on Earth. Go to the park. Go to the mountains. Go to the lake. Look around with your own eyes. Be active on social networking sites, but don't be so active you ignore your friendships that are in real life and real time. Expand yourselves beyond the technology you rely on by learning low-tech methods or the same procedures. Take notes by hand. Don't take pictures of it. Right? Yes, I know, I'll put the PPT up and my students will be click, 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 click. No, write it out. You'll learn it better. You'll learn the material better when you do it. Use a paper dictionary when you look up words. And if you have trouble spelling, every word you spell wrong, write it down 25 times, spell correctly, you will never forget it. You'll never forget how to spell in it this way. Write a journal, edit it. Edit it for grammar mistakes yourself, don't rely on a word processor. Solve math problems longhand. Close your eyes and open your ears during a lecture. Learn the skills first, then go from there. And finally, excel. Excel beyond the limits of technology and learn just how much you're capable of doing, both with, and more importantly, without technology. Thank you.